thorough pace, premium racing analytics, allowing bettors to identify races with extreme pace scenarios in a matter of seconds. Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Handicappers Report alongside Seth, Merrow. I'm Anthony Mormino on the backstretch, coming to you live from Clare Court on week 6, kicking off. It's not a Chamber of Commerce day. It's not raining, although it would appear as if it could rain. And we're off the turf. What did you say, Seth? 1-4-10?
149.
149.
No,
There is
no 10 today.
9 races, no steeplechase. Well, we'll get through it. Hold on. I mean, it's happens just about every year. Not every year, but just about every year. We seem to be in a rough patch, a weather patch.
Hey, Dino's making the show today.
He is. Dino, how you doing? If you're ever wondering who's directing the show, he's behind the show right now. So
God forbid something
we're
happens.
on autopilot right now, folks. We're just gonna glide in, folks, as we go live. But we'll just Seth is there'll never be a week like last week. Every single day we beat the day.
Nice.
The totals of the last 6 days are 63 races, almost $300. 70, 25, 28, 32, and the weekend that will maybe never be matched for balance, 52, and then on Sunday, $58. After I said on Sunday morning show, that would be the 5 best days. Well, these are the 6 best days I've seen. I'd like to see.
Nice.
I'd like to see Russ Harris's career if he ever had a week like that, where his ROI was about $4.30 for 6 consecutive days. I would put it, knowing the poisons Russ picked, no, I would say. But and I know that me personally, it's at 583. In the Times Union, we're about 514. But I know that. And in the last 2 years, I did the math. I have 14 free swings at Del Mar that I will take vigilantly. I didn't realize that because of how well last year went when opening day guaranteed we'd be good for literally tied for the meet. And then Mr. Disrespectful paid $30 ish. And I don't know. I've never experienced it. I've never had, Adam Rice. We got one of them. We didn't get the bigger one, but we got one of them.
I tried to get him on the show afterward. He looked at a shell shot. After the feature, he was standing there with another member of the Rice family, the former jockey, and I walked up and I said, "You gonna be around on Wednesday?" And she said, "You want him on TV?" I said, "Yes, I do." And he said, "Nah, I have to go back and take care of my horses out of Presque Isle." But I mentioned on the handicapping show, going back to 2019, he was 2 for 3 with horses at Saratoga. He's now 4 for 5. But even more impressive, Dave Krenig after the race looked it up. It's 4 straight going back to 2019.
I've had 2 of them.
I've
had 2 of them.
That's incredible.
The $18 one, I said, it was a perfect setup. I mean, to me, I know we paid $18 and we had the double. It came back almost $300. But he got the sprint race at Presque Isle. Prepping, we've seen this move before. As I said on Sunday show, I've seen this movie before. But the $41 winner that beat me, I run second at a huge price. I said to my wife as we were going out to dinner with our friends that was kind of on the set the other day, on the set, off the set. I said I didn't feel bad missing that $30 horse. It's really been something. We'll see. We have 3 weeks left, 3 weeks plus a day, I like to call it, Seth. Actually, what's funny about today, Seth, we have 24 days in the book. And if you're 60 years old, 24 was a magic number here. We'd be done. But now we have the 16 extra that have grown since 1991, but 24 in the books, 3 weeks of 5. Then remember, we run on Labor Day to close it out. So We have 16 days going forward, and we'll see. Off the turf today. I know one thing. The picks I sent in for you for the Times Union on Thursday, I do have a lot of MTOs because I think we're supposed to have inclement weather. And if we got to today, I mean, did it rain yesterday? I mean, I don't pay much attention on Monday, Tuesday up here, but you know,
as I drove in, it was sprinkling just now.
I mean, let me ask you, as a
just
Saratoga County, were you surprised they were off the turf? I mean, did you have bad rain on Monday, bad weather on Monday, Tuesday?
Not really, but
Yeah.
But I think it's just a holdover from the whole season. I don't think there have been any days or enough days where things were able to kind of dry out.
Okay.
Because every time now we get, you look on the weather and there's a storm coming. They'll put up that flash flood. Watch out. There could be flash floods in this area. And I think that's just, again, a overall from the rain that I think the groundwater levels are
okay.
Such that
I'm anticipating rain like for tomorrow. So I was like, I think at one race, Seth, I put my first and second pick are both the MTOs in case one of them doesn't want to run. I'm anticipating, but obviously you look at the mutuals. There's, I mean, been a tremendous day yesterday. What would have? Yesterday, Sunday, City Fever was the only chalk horse. And I've said this before, folks. There are very few days where the favorites get shut out. I mean, I keep a list at home, and it basically averages about 1 every 3 years where the chalk gets shut out. And City Fever held on at even money, $4.30, or else it was really like bombs away. Like there's, Adam Rice's second winner was the 8th choice in the wagering. He'd already won earlier in the day. So kind of crazy. And in the TU, it is 996. I told Seth 6 days ago, it was 666. Now it's 996. Lots of ties going on.
evenly matched competition this year.
It was that way in 22 also.
That makes it exciting.
It took the Jockey Club Gold Cup day. I was looking up some old things while I had free time. I have a lot more free time now that the young man is a young man and he drives. I'm like, this is what it used to be like in my 30s. This is like, Denise is like, what are you doing? I said, this is like, and I was looking at some old Times Union. I think there was the year that they spanked us. I was out on the team, but the paper I was reading, they were up like 15-5-2. So I think that would already been closed out. But this year, it's like, I don't think anybody's had a 3-day lead. I think like it's been like 2-1-0, 2-1-0. So we're fighting out. That's in the Times Union each day. Seth's there every single day. I'm there Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. And luckily, these last 2 Sundays, it was one thing I noticed, Seth. I did the math for me. On the Saturdays, I'm 1 for 11 for $2.70. 0 for 12, 0 for 12. So
Saturday's
basically,
not your day.
Yes, but the other Saturday was 52, so that wiped out the. Remember, I said when Orzora won, it wiped out the 0 for 12 on Saturday, and that's what price sources will do. So basically, on Saturday, I'm about 6 for like 50 with a positive ROI. That's why I say the hyphen doesn't help. You have to give it the context, the next letter over. 6 for 50. You stink. Well, maybe not. Maybe you're missing some data here. Look at what does Yogi Berra used to say? You can look it up. That was one of his lines. He goes,
I'll trust you on that one. Yeah, I think the main ones I know, I don't go there anymore. It's too crowded.
Too crowded.
No,
come to a fork in the road. Take it.
That place isn't popular anymore. It's too crowded.
Got it. Okay. What do you have for kicking off week 6? Can you believe it?
Promos, Capital OTB promos coming up this week today at the Clubhouse Racebook Knockout Challenge. Stop down and have a little extra fun today. Clubhouse Racebook, 711 Central Avenue and Albany. Same place that tomorrow, the prize wheel promotion. Go down, you quick name in the hat. Folks get selected throughout the afternoon. Spin the prize wheel. Maybe win an extra prize, voucher, food voucher. That's tomorrow. Friday, the $100 trifecta challenge at the Clubhouse Racebook. Don't forget Fridays throughout the Saratoga meet. Also, cookout at the Clubhouse. Hamburger, hot dog, baked beans, pasta salad, $10. Been a popular addition. Kicked it off a couple of weeks ago. That's Friday afternoons, Clubhouse Racebook. Bounty bet on Friday as well. Play the late pick 5 with your Capital OTB bet account. Saturday, Fan Appreciation Day at the Queensbury branch. I was up there, I want to say after last season. I think it was last September.
I did that once years ago. I went to that branch.
It's a nice
or the
branch,
old
and
one, yeah.
they have a nice crowd up there. But
Pizza, right?
Yeah,
they had pizza there.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you're
good too.
patron, if you're a patron up in that direction, stop by. We'll get our chance to say thank you to you. And Saturday and Sunday at the Racebook, $100 play the board on Saturday and double promo on Sunday. Again, all at the Racebook.
Two things. Is that paper going to make it to the end of the meet? That's one.
Well, it only has to make it to the end of August.
Okay.
End of
August? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, look at the July.
All right, you're going to make it then.
July's still going.
All right. Okay. So you won in the Times Union on Sunday. Congratulations to get us even. Now we need details on the show bet.
I got through 2 legs.
2 legs.
Which was...
Now you're at... Yes! So now you're at what I call the Mountain Peak
the
one.
Kicker, though, is...
here we go. I already know how it ends now.
Well, yeah. So I'm thinking I want to get going for the team. So I skip over my first 2 races, and my horses hit the board and paid, I want to say $4 and $5. So you're turning the 100 into like almost 600 right off. So I skipped those 2. What I want, I'm going for a little more logical. So I used the 3rd race. It only pays $290, but you get up 145. And then the next race, I did not foresee this, or I wouldn't have used the horse. It pays $210. So now I'm at like 150. But it's still, but now I have my dark horse play of the day, and it went off at 30 to 1. And so the potential is there for maybe a $9
balloons.
And I like the horse. I mean, I wasn't just taking a shot. And the horse just was horrible. And so I was done after 2.
And I've told people 2 things is A, you don't know how difficult that bet is unless you've tried it. And secondly, I've said it for as long as I've worked for Capital, which is different century, is the pressure that I have felt, which I embrace the idea when you bet for the other for other people, which is the syndicates, these teams, those weekends we used to have, is easily 3 to 5-fold what I ever feel for myself. And I know I'm not losing the people's individual money. Capital puts up the money, but I never felt it that way. So I understand. I tease about it, but I understand, like, it's you want to win so bad. I want to win for other people more than I want to win for myself. It's like it's not what you might think it is. I think of it as the equivalent to Jeopardy, Seth, where people think sitting in their living room answering the questions is remotely like playing the game. I haven't, but I'm here to tell you it's not. And that is definitely a bag-o tie.
Oh, yeah.
Paisley. That is, but I am not a Paisley guy, and that's a conservative, but that is an extremely sharp tie. And I must say, Seth, you got the shirt was perfect match with the jacket. You tied it all in today, but that is a great looking tie. And I do not, folks who watch this show probably go, does anybody own more bold striped ties than Mormino? I'm like, probably not. But it's Wednesday, so that must be Steve Bick if he's back from, he's probably on his way to Del Mar.
I don't know. He usually texts me because Wednesdays a lot of times he's over on the front side with the radio show, so I swing over. I haven't gotten a text today. And last week he wasn't sure whether he would have a little respite before heading to Del Mar. So I'm not sure where he is right now.
I mean, it's tricky. Like I don't obviously know the Pacific Classic, but I think I have my Thursday and Friday dinner dates at San Diego. Like the first thing I asked Lee Einsiedler is, what day are you going out? Because that's a big thing. And Steve's going out for the Pacific Classic. You're probably not going out on Friday because the race is the next day.
His game plan,
and today's Wednesday, so
Dino was trying to talk to me. Give me information.
We only have 9 races today.
Dino says there's a change of plans. He's not going to the Pacific Classic.
So that means he's going to be with you.
I would assume.
Wow, that's a big change of plan not to go to California.
Well, we were making fun of him Sunday. Joe Bianco was in, who used to work at the barbecue.
For Steve?
But we were making fun. Bianca can come in the day after the Arlington. He made it in for the show.
Yes.
He was on he talked about the private jet flight. And,
Steve didn't have that hookup, huh?
Nerd. Yes.
Well, maybe if Steve hits the DePaula Play of the Day today, maybe he'll have that have that hookup. So here we are, Steve Bix, DePaula Play of the Day.
When you think trucks, think DePaula. Then come join the family for value. Just visit, call, or click.
This week's Chevy Silverado is just $539 a month with zero due at inception. Yes, zero down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Hey, everybody. Steve Bick back with you as we start the last 3 weeks of the meet. It's the DePaula Play of the Day, and I'm hoping we stay on the grass for the Susie O'Kane, the wonderful late Susie O'Kane, being honored with the 8th race today. New York bred 3-year-old fillies, long on the grass, 1 16th on the inner. There's several prices to consider because it's New York breds long on the turf, and you always consider the prices on the New York bred turf races going long. I'm just kidding. The 3, 8-1 for John Kimmel and the Bromans, the fabulously bred Broman filly, Justify out of their terrific Concord Kid by Lemon Drop Kid. Louis Saez rides back, and this is a horse that should sit a really nice trip right behind the Speed. If for some reason the Speed doesn't materialize, she actually has got a gear that Louis Saez can employ. So I'm just kidding. 8-1, your 3-horse in the 8th race. Don't forget the big pick 6 carryover. It's going to be a tough sequence. Going to probably reach $1 million. So a good day of racing on Wednesday. Let's hope the rain is behind us, and let's hope we can cash in the DePaula Play of the Day. Good luck. Talk to you tomorrow.
When you think trucks, think DePaula.
The all-new 2024 Chevy Trax is here. Bigger, roomier, seats 5, and lots of technology. And just $449 a month, zero down.
So come join the family and think DePaula for all your automotive needs.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, the Handicappers Report. So Steve Bick on board in the 8th race today. We have a 9-race card, no jump involved. We are off.
I should note.
Yes.
Just, don't mean to interrupt. But,
no, please no.
Play of the Day bankroll for folks who are on the team. You're going well. I think that I got an email from Shannon the other day. The website I've been updating every day the plays, but I just put the payouts. But the total I think is 2,900 at this point that the team has. With 16 days left for the guys to keep swinging. So there's some nice,
beyond great,
some nice dough in the bank already.
Good job.
Play of the Day bankroll team. So
all right,
you can look forward to that at the end of the meet, splitting up that and more.
The opener, we're off the turf, so these are 2-year-olds. We're going to run the mile. They don't shorten up to 7 furlongs. They're going to go a mile. State breds, fillies, maiden special weights.
I left mine the same, 8, 5, 6, and 3. I'll talk about, we'll hope it stays in because the 8 is my dark horse play of the day. So I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. But Run for Honey, again, there weren't, any MTOs in here. There's not a lot to go with, but Run for Honey, a couple of turf races, bookend a dirt race that, was okay. Once an Eagle, the Clement runner is kind of interesting. Tossed in a little bit of a dud in the opener, but went off as the 3-1 favorite. We'll see if they stick in. There are a couple of there's some dirt workouts. They aren't spectacular, but again, I'll stick there. And Downtown Channel, again, with the breeding, will they stick? I don't know, but I'll go there. There was nothing necessarily that was jumping out to me. And again, I'll keep my fingers crossed that maybe we stick in with a little bit naughty, but I'll talk a little bit more about that in a few when we do the dark horse play of the day. 8, 5, 6, and 3.
Teaser. As Seth mentioned, there's no MTOs. I would not even hazard a guess at who could be staying or going. My thought would be everybody stays. I mean,
really feel you have a dirt or
a turf horse and don't want to take the chance of them running down.
Downtown Channel.
Yeah, you're thinking maybe they'll wait being by English Channel, but my picks, I like the 5, and I will say that I thought this horse was solid on either surface. The turf race was certainly acceptable to me, and a beaten favorite going 5.5 and Austrian that maybe the experience and now the distance of ground will help. I like the 5 very much in here. I have Bernie Takes Charge, who's from the rail. The debut was going to mile 16, but it's a Take Charge Indy. You know, I'm fine with that. And then I do think that if I was to say, guess one horse that I'd be most apt to think would scratch, it would be my 3. And in that case, I would bring in the 6, your 6, Once an Eagle. And I will say that I can't see out the side anymore, but I saw there was many gate works today, schooling gate works, and it looked fine. My point is, it might be one of those days off the turf and fast. You know, the kind of the anomaly that you get more often than you would think.
Because we were asking earlier if it rained up here. If it did, it was not
noticeable, apparently.
Yeah, it wasn't super, certainly. Second race this afternoon, maiden 40 claimers. They will also go the 1.5 turn mile. At the top of my page, I wrote, I'm completely guessing in here.
I can understand that. I understand. I loved Ken McPeak's firster on Sunday in the opener, Wonder Ride, who Julian Leopard did a great job, scored at $20. Seth could vouch for it. I rarely change up once the big blue marker came, but we agree. And I'm going to tell you, I don't quote these very often. First time tag, I mention that almost all the time. But boy, look at this. Ken McPeak, an outstanding trainer, who, by the way, condolences. I believe I read his father passed, right? You usually you have the industry, Mr. James Brown over here, but I think I read that his father recently passed at a fine upper age, I think, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. But how about this, Rick? Maiden special weight to maiden claimer. He's basically 10 for 40. And his ROI is just like beating the VIG, the takeout. So this is something that he does tremendously. And he entered this horse off 2 10-furlong turf races for a mile on the dirt. My point for me, Seth, is I did something I very rarely do. Is I'm just here for the stat. I had this horse originally 3rd, and I went through it again. I go, no way. This is his move. He wants this race, the mile. He entered for it. I'm all on the incredibly high statistic for Ken McPeak, coupled with Julian, who he won with the other day, but that's their Kentucky grouping, and he's 6-1. So I'm on board. Dark Princess, who originally was my second place horse, got moved to 3rd, go figure, and then the 6 got moved to 2nd. But this is just really, for me, Seth, a stat play because his 2 races don't look that good, and you went to him also. So.
Yeah, and I literally have written at the top of the page, it's like I landed here on really
I'm intrigued because if he's anywhere near 6-1, I'm intrigued.
You know, cuts back, goes to dirt, made special weight to maiden claiming. It was just enough there to think, in here, I'm not going anywhere with any kind of confidence. Dark Princess may wind up being the one to beat off the lone claiming try 2 back, which was a pretty good effort, relatively speaking. But I used Don't Tell Amy in the 2nd spot. Now, this one, last time tossed in a pretty good number on the turf, but the career debut on the dirt was okay. There's another one. The 2nd start was okay. Again, relatively speaking. So maybe the race last time off a layoff and now a turf to dirt move with some extra class relief. The Morley horse, I think, could be a player in Thestral, if I'm getting that anywhere close to correct. Another maiden special weight to maiden claiming player. So again, I put Dark Princess down in the 4th spot, actually, in the 2nd at Saratoga. 5-2-6-1, as I say. Real lack of
we have the rarity of a 9-race card. We're moving all of our breaks up, so it's time for the
Dark Horse Play of the Day. Brought to you by the Dark Horse Mercantile in downtown Saratoga. Again, if you're in downtown, swing by. They stay open late. If you're going down for dinner, you can walk Broadway and stop by, say hello, and you will enjoy the visit down the street. Their sister store, Impressions of Saratoga. Dark Horse Play of the Day, though, I alluded to it earlier, race number 1. We'll see. We'll keep our fingers crossed this one stays on. A little bit naughty. Oscar performance pretty good with first-time starters. So far this year, 28 first-time starters, 4 wins, couple seconds, couple thirds. Going back to last year, 34 first-time starters, 6 wins, 3 seconds, 7 thirds. Dam has produced some nice win early types. Castana won in the third career start, sixth and second, then one. So there was some win early there. Avis Kitten third, then fourth, and a couple of wins. And sibling Real Solution, who you might remember, finally came over here to the United States and was going for Ken Ramsey, won the first 3 starts of the career over in Italy. So there was some win early on the breeding that I thought, in this field, I'm not seeing any world beaters in here. This horse with that little bit of win early breeding, top and bottom, very intriguing to me. Luis Saez on board, obviously riding very well. Again, we'll have to see what happens vis-a-vis the surface switch.
Vis-a-vis on week 6. My goodness.
I'm tossing them out, baby.
Oh.
Dark horse play today. Race number 1, horse number 8, a little bit naughty.
Now, if I remember correctly, you're not out, but you're ahead. Is that still the status?
I have to go back and look. I would assume.
Because you had the big score, and because I asked you, you're out, so you got to be ahead.
I'm close.
If you're close to being out.
I'm close to being even at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Short card today. Take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I forgot to update on that on the. It only takes one upset to make history, and now you can be part of Saratoga's long tradition at the Dark Horse Mercantile. The Dark Horse Mercantile offers a carefully curated selection of clothing, gifts, and home decor, from one-of-a-kind vintage racing memorabilia to select brands like Barber and Under Armour, as well as exclusive Dark Horse branded merchandise. So celebrate the Dark Horse in all of us at the Dark Horse Mercantile, downtown Saratoga, where the smart bet is always the Dark Horse.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 101-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 101 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
Capital OTB is now streaming live on Roku. The RTN Racing channel on Roku lets you watch OTB TV live through your Roku device or your Amazon Fire Stick, rather than being limited to computers and mobile devices, which means you can now watch OTB live wherever you are. Simply open Roku, scroll to find the RTN channel, then click on OTB TV. OTB TV on Roku. Try it now.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're up to race number 3 on this very overcast morning. We are off the turf for 1, 4, and 9. On to the third. Claimers in for 16. Fillies and Mares.
I think he got a new mower. Wasn't the mower the other day?
Oh, yeah. I sound like, which is funny because it's an electric one, and they're usually very, very low. Mine's even lower than that. But, yes, he
that's thank you.
And the leaf blower is on vacation.
I think he's got to a once-a-meet stop, hopefully. Third race today at Saratoga, 1, 6, 2, and 5. This is 3 straight mile races now today, with the first race being kicked to that distance. 1, 6, 2, and 5. Suspended campaign on top. 6 to 5 on the morning line. It's a Linda Rice horse off a claim and moving up off a claim. But that was a win here at Saratoga with a number that matches up nicely with these. And this is on the top end with the top 3 or 4. The numbers are pretty similar. This horse, though, throwing them pretty consistently, tossed a good number in the last start. It was against slightly lesser. I don't think this move is going to be an obstacle, so I'm going to go in that direction. Suspended campaign on top. Vitemi, again, taking a shot at that. Goes out for David Jacobson. Tried this company last time, showed some speed before fading a little bit late. I think with that one under the belt over the track, we can expect at least similar, and similar puts this horse in the hunt, I would think, and then timed out in the 3rd spot. Coming in from the Finger Lakes off a couple of good starts and a nice little workout. The Finger Lakes runner tracking Irod Ortiz could be very intriguing in here. I have it 1, 6, 2, and 5.
I'm 7, 1, 2 going to the outside. It's I don't think going to be a hindrance. I think Luis Saez, who I think is having an outstanding meet, an absolutely outstanding meet. 3rd start since March 31st. Last race was a little tough to take if you liked It's Cold in Tahare. I'm hoping for a bounce back here. Icebox. As I said, we're off the turf, but boy, it looked clear and fast out there. For second, I'm Seth's top picks ascended campaign. First off the claim for the Linda Rice and Rice's juggernaut timed out for third. They're two of the clear players in here, but I took a shot with number 7. It's Colden DeHare, and I think we will receive a better price than 4-1.
Fourth race this afternoon, and I'm just checking. It sticks at the 5.5. Fourth race this afternoon.
Yes.
Starter allowance types. Originally scheduled for 5.5 on the turf. It's now on the main track.
And I don't know how much ease you can go to the MTOs here. I'm not so sure that they are, dynamic in here. And I'll just play this game as a public handicapper about 90 minutes before scratch is coming out. If I'm guessing, and that's what I'm doing, the 3 and the 4 are high on my list of not racing today. The 9 would be in that group, but I would make the over under 3.5 of scratches out of the main body. I think this one will be okay. And I'm staying with the same horses. No, I think the 7's actually is going to come out. If I had to guess, the hard spun, who has shows on the paper not liking the dirt. So I'm thinking maybe the 3, the 4, and the 7 and the 9 would be my guesses who we lose here. And I don't have much faith in the 11 and 12, the 2 MTOs coming in here. But I know this. I now want Maddie's Grace to scratch because I want Proud Foot in here. The offspring of First Samurai. I have 3 girls underneath. And even though this horse does not have a dirt start, Seth, by collected, I've heard you talk on the programs about him. Good early speed on other surfaces. I would be inclined to stay in. So for me, I'm expecting, I'll take 7, 10, 8. I think the 7 will scratch, guessing, and I like the 10, 8.
Yeah, the 8 going out for Jamie Begg. Had him on the show the other day. That was a fun interview.
Nice.
My dirt picks 10, 6, 11, and 12, like you, Proudfoot, with the very nice dirt resume underneath. Far more dirt than turf. It's a Linda Rice trainee. I think David Aragona was right in your camp in that the MTOs aren't standing out. He's got the morning line 6-1 and 10-1 for the 2 MTOs. So I'm in the body of the field with Proudfoot. And again, you would think that one would stick. Same with Need Some Money, who has no turf starts on the resume for Tommy Amos. 3rd off the claim. And I think the surface, which is no obstacle. Maybe they're happy with that. And then I put the MTOs underneath. In the 4th, 10, 6, 11.
And there's
12.
so many things. I know you had David on, and you could basically do a 5-part series with David Aragona on a week up here. But when he does the MTOs, that like how much he thinks about who might be staying or going from the main body, or if he just kind of says, I mean, I'd be interested to pick his mind on how he goes about. I think sometimes it's obvious, and we're going to get to it in the next 2 days, where there's like 6 to 5 shots. But in that race, you go, geez, would there be a turf horse, a horse in the main body that if it comes off, I like more than the MTOs? On to the 5th. I've said it before. We do not run 9 furlongs on the inner turf very often. This stayed on, right? This is the one that stayed on? Or is this off too?
No, this one's on.
Yeah, this one's on. Starter allowance going 9 on the inner.
5, 10, 4, and 7.
We agree.
Race 5 will be run at the scheduled distance on the Mellon Turf Course.
All right.
So there is a change there.
There is a change. And I have said this before, and I think most people who follow the games on a daily basis find that is different. That's it might be green grass, but I think the inner and the Mellon Turf Course are not the same experience.
I have a 5, 10, 4, and 7. I put Frontman on top, going out for our friends at America's Pastime. Had Jason Brinkman on the other day from America's Pastime, locally based partnership. They're in partnership here with Krakow, the Cantormachis group. And I thought this one came in, okay for him. It's cost a couple of decent numbers recently. Not jumping off the page at me, but there was enough there that I could tilt a little bit in this direction. Again, the race 2 back was a nice win if we get back to that. But that said, that was against 25 claimers. Bounced up to this company last time and ran fourth. But again, both of those numbers I think have a good matchup with this group. Unleash the Power going out for Al Stahl. Nice little second, similar company right up here last time on the move to Saratoga. So this one I think is logical and dangerous. Certainly the outside post position, however, will have to be overcome. And then Shin Sun for Barkley Tag comes in off a nice second place finish against Similar in the second start back this season. I think third start back off of those first two that are moving in the right direction. Shin Sun could be primed and ready to roll today. 5, 10, 4, and 7.
I see it strikingly similar, obviously. Frontman, I think, is a major player in here at a 6-1 morning line. I've said it probably about as much as I said anything on this network. Is the comeback race or the start of the career a solid effort? This is ever so slight a regression, which from a 6-year-old I would kind of understand, and it's actually a very good sign. I expect a good effort in here today, maybe even better, and very attractive price here. I have Shinsu in second. This horse, another horse making the third start of the year. Both of them were career best moving forward. And then Wisecracking at a huge price in here off of taking on winners for the first time. Now, broke the maiden going maiden special way, which allows them to run in starter allowance. But I will tell you, and this is just anecdotal for me, Seth, this is actually not a spreadsheet I have. The 2L is a much nicer spot than this. I just have a gut feeling, and I don't say that very often, that going to the starter allowance is a much higher mountain than the 2L. So I'm 5-4-3.
All right. Break time?
It is. Take a quick break. When we come back, I'm sorry.
No, that's
we'll
okay.
have this is almost shocking to say, Seth. We'll be on the 6th race. We'll have the final pick 4. Unbelievable today. We'll be right back. Come on.
I want sales reports on my desk by Monday.
Whoops. My bad.
Love racing? RTN brings you every live simulcast on your home television, plus live video streaming and race replays on your PC and mobile devices. To order, visit rtn.tv. RTN, a breed apart.
A day at the track isn't complete without a night at the Horseshoe. Great food, hot music, and cold drinks. So why go downtown when all the action's just across from the track? The Horseshoe Inn at the corner of Nelson and Gridley.
Birdstone is an outside front. They're coming down to the finish. Can Smarty Jones hold on? Here comes Birdstone. Birdstone surges past. Birdstone wins the Belmont Stakes.
In front, but here comes High Chaparral. High Chaparral, the defending champ, to take it to Falbrough. These two arch rivals head to head with Joe Hart bearing down on them. It's going to be a 3-horse photo finish to the turn. Here's the wire. Photo finish.
Welcome back to the Handicappers Report. Seth Merrow, Anthony Mormino on this Wednesday kickoff to week number 6.
Yes.
I almost said 5, but it's week it's week number
24
6.
in the book. Days.
And again, a little overcast today. They're off
set.
the turf 1, 4, and 9. But we move on with our thoughts. Race number 6. An allowance non-winners of 1 other than 3/4 of a mile.
And off the air, we were talking about Twitter, and HRT is an abbreviation for horse racing Twitter. And somebody, and I was telling Seth how much I laugh, and my wife was always like, "What are you doing?" I go, "It's laugh." So somebody on Twitter last night, in reference to this race, the 2 and the 3, Richard Dutrow Jr. doing Richard Dutrow Jr. things. I just started cracking up. And if you don't have a form in front of you, the 2 and the 3 ran 4 days ago. And for those who remember Willie Beeman, what did he win on Wednesday? And then he won the King's Bishop on Saturday. And I know you're going to be surprised to hear this. Never won again. You win the King's Bishop and you never win again. So Mirsal and Seyfor Dada, who won and beat me, they're entered here. And I can tell you that I would not be I'm not going to try. I'll give you one, Seth, since we have a short card today. The winner of a major juvenile stakes race at Del Mar during the pandemic of 2020, a juvenile stakes race. He's Having a Meltdown is the name of the horse. You should look it up on Equibase. He won at this place that is, I think, the equivalent of the Great Barrington Fair a couple days ago on the 13th and 15th of July. He's won like 7 in a row at this like Great Barrington Fair like circuit thing. But they run like 4 days at this crooked roundup thing. He won on the 13th and the 15th. This is only 2 years ago. He was a juvenile stakes winner. I don't know what Richard's going to do. Did you have, it's not in your mix. Did you just, were you suspect they're going to run or that they can't compete? Did you have an opinion?
No,
I don't think they're running, but I wouldn't be shocked with this barn.
I wouldn't be shocked either.
So,
I mean, the last race, Cellino was on the MTO at 99-1, meaning I think David thought the horse would come out.
No.
Coming off the win.
Okay. Finish.
And
Finish.
I had it.
You should actually stop.
On top on dirt.
You should stop. David, great on Twitter. He is no longer eligible for the condition.
That makes sense. Okay,
David walked people right through it. Another 2 thumbs up from David. They drew the race on Friday.
Because
he
coming
won
off
the
win.
race on Friday, and
sense.
he's no longer eligible. And I'm sure many people, David will put 50 to 1 from time to time. But he,
No, when I
he's
saw
just
99 to 1, I realized he was saying no, not going, and I thought it was probably the quick turnaround.
Yeah,
But now that makes complete sense.
So I'm 7-8-4, and you gotta wait. I mean, to me, it is important because I think Mersal at 15 to 1 on the morning line, and I'd be interested if David put him at 15, thinking he wouldn't run. But I'm 7. Well, we're kind of close here. 7. I like Cupid's Heart in here. If Richard Dutcher Jr. is doing his thing now, I get nervous, but this is the 3rd start of the year. I like it very much. Bruce Levine with limited runners is having a good meet. Portage for 2nd. Linda Rice is having a great century. And for 3rd, Cuz You Are Pretty, gets Lasix today, ships in from Finger Legs, has won 3 consecutive time at odds on. Won't be odds on today. 7-8-4.
I have it 8-5, 7-4. I put Portage on top. I thought off the last 2, the horse just seems to have figured it out clearly. And the win last time, it's a big ask. Made special weight against limited winners, but boy, the way she did it, I thought probably could ace the assignment. 3 Rivers going for Bill Mott, pretty good debut winner. This one also makes that class move that is a little bit dicey, but again, did it in a fashion to break the maiden that says probably fits nicely. Cupid's Heart, 3rd start back, nice improvement, start 1 to start 2. Coming in from the Finger Legs, Cuz You're Pretty, I think, with the 3-race win streak so far this year is also intriguing. Kind of a fun, interesting race, but for me, 8-5, 7-4.
I think this would be factually accurate. Mr. Mello put more people on the network that ended up staying on the network than anybody. I think Preachy's also in that group. He 31 years ago, he brought me in. We did a Saratoga preview. I was 28, 29 years old. Nick Kling, Tom, and I. It was the first time I ever worked. I can't believe the late, great Jim Barber didn't go crazy. I was moving so much in my chair, which, Seth, I want to thank you for giving me back the chair that has movement.
They
locked
the fan, which is killing it. It's working against the mosquitoes.
They locked me in, so I thought that was their way of telling me. So Seth goes, no, we probably on the Sunday show, stretch it out. One more before the break.
People don't get it. One of the chairs, for some reason, does not swivel.
Does not swivel.
And somehow it got mixed up.
So on to the 7th, 9 furlongs. Claimers 25, 2L.
7, 3, 9, and 2. South Street on top. Again, Linda Rice, Jose Ortiz. Stepping out of some starter allowance company and an allowance non-winners the one before that. But 3 starts back. Last time in for a claiming tag, ran very well. I think dropping back in for the tag and lower than that 1, 3 starts back. I think that's going to be very beneficial this afternoon. So again, class move. Robertino Diodoro off the claim, certainly a little cool at this meet, but Robertino Diodoro overall off the claim, very, very potent. So I think Freeze Pop is intriguing. And then Happy Bob coming off a win last time for Linda Rice, and at a little bit of a lower level. A, price-wise, it was a little bit lower, but B, it was a maiden claimer. So now moves to 25 N2L and into a new barn. Dominic Schettino, limited stats, but does pretty well off the claim. So interesting horse coming in off the win. But again, was claimed away from Linda Rice. We'll see what Dominic Schettino can do with that one in the 7th, 7, 3, 9, and 2.
And I, because I'm a trifecta player, Seth, I think I'm dialed into horses running better than odds for outfits that run second and third. And David Jacobson was a gentleman who was sitting on a bagel, but I said to folks that I think this is about to go really well, and he picked off 2 on Sunday. So did your stats have his updated? Because he's now looking brilliant, but he had 2 bombers. This Seth's top pick. I mean, the race goes through South Street, and I was thinking that Robertino Diodoro maybe could get the upset here with his barn. And this is one of those races I call the Mount Everest. Now, this is a horse who actually I think Seth raced okay at starter allowance, and is now dropping back in what I think is a noticeable softer spot, and is the horse to beat. And I'm trying to beat him with the 3, and I have Lucky Luke for Orlando Noto, who I think is also in that group. He's sitting on the duck, but 8 of his 13 have hit the board, and they're not 6-5. I mean, the context, as that man over there, the old retired school teacher said, context is everything. 3-2-7.
Break time again?
So
we'll take a break, and we'll come back 2 more on this
unbelievable
Wednesday afternoon. Stay tuned.
For more than 4 generations, Bruce Cerrone and his family have continued the 101-year tradition of delighting their local following and faithful summer crowd with the finest authentic Italian recipes. Classic Italian dishes made with the freshest ingredients, served in a home-like setting. Some things have changed in the last 101 years, but not Pinnell's commitment to the finest in Italian cuisine. Pinnell's Italian Restaurant, a Saratoga tradition since 1922. 284 Jefferson Street, just minutes from the track.
The only thing better than watching the races is watching your own racehorse. With nearly 20 years experience in the racing industry, Bonaventure Stables' share-based ownership program enables everyday fans to become part owner of a thoroughbred for far less than you might think, with all the ownership perks at Saratoga, Belmont, Aqueduct, and other great tracks. Experience the thrill and lifestyle of owning your own thoroughbred racehorse. Learn more at bonaventurestables.com.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, although I apologize, I stepped on your foot. I was so excited because we have a little time here. 2 people that are going to join Seth in just a moment. I've known basically since about 1991. That's where I met Tom at the old Clubhouse race book. And it evolved, and he put me on the air, and it's evolved into this. And no matter what he says, it's less than a 50-50 bet that I'm here today without him. The other person I've known for about the same amount of time, who I met through Tom and Nick, knows a third person who's one of my favorite people on earth, and probably the only person, I think he was the only person that I met at the racetrack only, had no other association, that I invited to our wedding. Now, he didn't come, but his gift was tremendous. Can you guess what his gift might have been?
Season pass to the racetrack.
No, John Signor is going, I hope they never run 9 races again. He said to me, he goes, Anthony, Breeders' Cup Day, you call me up, you have $200 worth of wagers on the Breeders' Cup. That's my wedding present to you. And it was at Seth and Anthony. So, we were talking the other day. Michael Kipnis, the Wizard, will be on with Tom and Mello at the top of the hour if I ever stop talking. But he's one of my favorite human beings. He's one of the smartest people in the world. And I was saying it that my son sits there going, who is this guy? I said, it's coming. It's like we're going to go to Vegas, and I put you two in the room, and you can see one of my favorite people of all time. Probably the only favorite person of mine he hasn't met. And he sent his regards. And, you know, I've said this, I've told the story before. I used to stalk the New York guys when I was a kid. And they called me Boy Wonder. Like, who is this guy? So that was the nickname they gave me. So then they talked about this other guy who was never around, that he was clearly the Mount Everest guy. I bought the media guide in 86, the old spiral bound one, because he was an owner.
You could buy those?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. And I bought it. I found what he looked like. I stalked him all 1987. And on closing day at Ciro's, he's a tall person. I just basically stalked him and we became friends. And he taught me. So he was the guy that told me and gave me the confidence. When the horse's odds go up, go back to the window and bet more. And I've said this many times. It was really like the last major breakthrough for me as a bettor, to have that confidence that he said he's 12-1. He goes, he's now 17-1. You have to go back and bet more. And I did. The horse won and paid like $36. And he goes, you have to maximize your scores. And he was 100% right. Let's get to the Susie O'Kane before we actually do run out of time.
It is the Susie O'Kane, named for the long-time
wonderful
breeder, and $125,000 scheduled mile and 16th on the grass.
Well, she gave a lot to the New York bred program, racing out in front. Good Mari 7-9-6, and Seth and I have the field covered almost. And I don't find the 10 and the 11 are the MTO. So there's 9 running, and Seth, we have 67% of them. I think what that's good for is it's truly emblematic of this race. I mean, I like to say it on this show, and I just want to make sure you may feel differently because you don't have the 6 in the mix. But I think for many people, or at least for me, because I do have the 6, the 4 would be the only one that you might look. But that's not true either. The horse just ran well in the New York Stallion Series. So I think the 9 horses in the main body, there's no shaking of the head when they go by the window. So I think it's very appropriate that we have 6. I have Orange Freeze. Listen, second off the claim on a sharp trainer, new to the name in New York, Bill Morey Jr., Bill Morey's, and I like the race coming out. 2 races back, followed up with a victory. Imagine coming out of a maiden claiming and winning a stallion race at 4-1. I mean, and I think this horse is going to go forward. I have Snowy Evening, who's on the outside of the turf race, coming out of multiple allowance races. The first one was better. And for third, the 6th, opening day, getting out of here race. Good victory by Irad against Javier. I think an outstandingly competitive race. 7-9-6 for me.
5, 4, 8, and 6. I originally had the 5 and the 4 switched up, so I may kick myself if Burn again does it. But the more I looked, the more I thought, since going to the turf for Christophe Clement, Silver Skillet has just shown that that's the surface, and 2 nice and improving efforts. So I think this one is primed now off that win last time right up here at Saratoga. Makes sense. Burn again, though, as I say, at the price, I might kick myself. Finished just a nice second behind Orange Freeze last time in a pretty good effort. And the 2 starts before that were very good. I think this horse is very dangerous at a price. And then Collaboration in the 3rd spot for Linda Rice. Tossed in a clunker last time, but it has the look of an aberration. I'll look for that one to rebound also at maybe a little bit of a price. 5, 4, 8, and 6.
And Seth, we probably haven't said this in a very long time. At 5:44, the scheduled final post time.
Oh. And it will remain at the 5.5.
Yes.
I have it 11, 8, 2, and the 1A. I'm going to bounce out to the MTOs.
Okay.
Marley's Ghost for Mike Trombetta off the seasonal debut. That was a race right up here and a near miss. 2nd slot, I'm going to take a look at Army of Thoughts by Army Mule. Debuted last fall on the turf, but it won't shock me if they stay in with this one. And if so, I think could be a little bit live. And then in the third spot, I have Show Me Your Heels, stepping out of Maiden Special Company. The dirt start, was okay, relatively speaking, but the class relief may mitigate the surface switch a little bit too. 11-8-2 in the 1A.
Boy, I have to tell you, Seth, I don't think you're getting any bargain with the MTO. I mean, I could be eating my words, but his fast racetrack dirt races are not good enough to win here. I think he's in the mix. He's going to be a short price, but I'm like, I kind of brought this up for the first time this season because the buyer speed figures are so predominant. I think like a 52 will win it, and I think everybody can run it.
You said his races aren't fast enough, though. That last one is fast enough.
No. On a clear, fast racetrack.
Oh, the last one was sloppy. But the last one was also off a long layoff. I think that might be more indicative that he's just improved now.
All right.
She has just improved.
Because I think I'm not throwing anybody out because I think a 55 wins this race.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think she's any standout.
Yeah, so, to me, I don't know that my top pick, the 4, is staying in. I would think the 2 would stay in, first time in for a tag. I just think the 5, the 6, the 7 are questionable to stay in. The 8, the 1 part of the entry, but I'll tell you, I don't know that the MTO is a winner here. There's got to be another one. I don't like that one. Boy, I'll tell you, I have no clue. I wish, even if I had the scratches right now, I might not have an opinion because I don't think the 4 is staying in. I'd like to see the 2 stay in. And Army of Thoughts and Offspring of Army Mule, who's doing great. I'm staying in. First time tag, I'm definitely staying in here. And the 8 will remain. So I'll take 4, 8, 2. I'm not worried about Marley's Goat. Seth is right that the comeback race is a sign of improvement. But I'm telling you, folks, I think 54 wins this race, and I'm guessing that 7 of them can run it.
Yeah, no, I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It's always, I mean, like I said, that one day we ended up getting the match race. I specifically know I set the over-under at 6.5, and it came in at 9. I mean, it's hard to guess. It's hard to handicap who's staying in. But if I'm an Army Mule in that barn, I'm staying. I'm going to give this a try. It's only the second career start, and I will like that runner very much.
All right, top of the hour. We mentioned it already. Tom Amello and Michael Kipnis. They have a new podcast that we'll talk a little bit about and more. Joe Clancy will visit us, the regular Wednesday visit from the Saratoga Special Crew, and then a little bit later on, Rick Schosberg. Tomorrow's Thoroughbred Aftercare Day here at the track. Rick is retired, but still working plenty with the Take the Lead and the Take Two projects for the New York Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association. So we'll talk a little bit about that and more, all coming up.
And I'll make this quick. Please give back Joe Clancy's bike. No questions asked. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He stays, I go, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great Wednesday. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning.
You've been watching the Handicappers Report. The Handicappers Report has been brought to you by Thorough Pace, Premium Racing Analytics, allowing bettors to identify races with extreme pace scenarios in a matter of seconds. Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. Bet any place, anytime with Capital OTB's mobile wagering platform. And CapitalOTBBet.com, the premier wagering site in New York State.